Beep test. When candidates receive their briefing, they'll be allocated lane numbers. Once a candidate is called to start the test, they will then follow the instructions of the assessor and head out to the rear pad. Once they go out to the rear pad, they will then line up in the lane numbers as given in the registration. There will be 6 lanes available. Each candidate has a 1.5 metre space for each lane. There's plenty of room for a candidate to be able to have their own room and their own space at each point in time. The 20-metre test area will be clearly marked with tape. While completing the test, the candidate is required to place 1 foot on the ground completely behind the line. This foot needs to go on the ground before the beep for the level sounds and needs to remain there until the beep for the next level starts. That is 1 foot on the ground completely behind the line. This does not matter if it's your whole foot, part of your foot, or tip of the toe. All we need to see is 1 foot on the ground completely behind the line. If while running down, the candidate places their foot partially on the line, they are not behind the line, so they will be given a warning. If the candidate places their foot in front of the line, they do not have 1 foot on the ground behind the line, they'll also be given a warning. The candidate's foot needs to remain on the ground behind that line until the beep for the next level starts. If their foot leaves the line before the beep, they've left early and they'll be given a warning. When coming down at each end, the candidate has 1.5 metres space to be able to have their own lane. However, the candidate is required to complete level 9.6. When doing this, the candidate must run to each end, place 1 foot on the ground, and then run off. The candidate is not permitted at any stage to run in circles at the end. If a candidate's shoelace comes undone at any stage throughout the test, the candidate will be told to stop and correct it before they move on. This is a workplace health and safety issue. When this happens, the candidate will lose time. They are required to tie their shoelaces before they continue on and then catch up. If, while stopping to tie their shoelace, the candidate misses the beep at the next end, they'll be given a warning. If they miss the following end after that, they'll be given a second warning. The shoelaces must be tied before the candidate proceeds on. It is our advice that you ensure that your shoelaces are tied in a double knot, tied in a comfortable manner that you are confident in before starting the beep test. A candidate can be given a warning for 3 main reasons. They do not have 1 foot on the ground completely behind the line, that is part of the foot on the line. Candidate can also be given a warning for not making the beep, that is the beep goes before they have 1 foot on the ground completely behind the line. The candidate can be given a warning if they leave before the beep for the next level. That is, they have left early. A candidate can receive a total of 2 warnings before their 3rd warning will constitute a fail. If a candidate is given a warning for any reason, the candidate will be warned and notified via their lane number. That is, lane 6, warning, left early. If a candidate gets a warning for any reason, such as leaving early, the warning will be reciprocated at each end. One of the assessor's hands will go up in the air and will identify the person who has received the warning. The candidate then needs to acknowledge that they have received that warning and the number of warnings will be read out. Candidates are required to complete level 9.6 on the beep test. That is completion of level 9.6. If a candidate does not have 1 foot on the ground completely behind the line before the beep test says start level 9.7, they have not completed level 9.6. This is not a warning and a candidate cannot be warned for this. This will be an instant fail regardless of how many warnings you have. Candidates need to be aware that if they receive warnings early on in some of the slower stages, that this can come back and be a hindrance for them later on and can potentially lead to a failed test. Candidates need to ensure they get to each end in a quick manner, have 1 foot on the ground behind the line before the beep goes. On testing day, you will be told by the assessors when you're at level 9.5. When you're at 9.5, you will then run to the opposing end, place 1 foot on the ground behind the line before it says start level 9.6. You will then run all the way down for the final time and get that foot over the line before it says start level 9.7. At this point in time, the assessors will let you know when you're at level 9.6 to run hard to finish off the test to ensure you get over the line. At completion of the beep test, there will be no time to be able to have a drink or have a rest. The candidate will be proceeding immediately to the claustrophobia test.